I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Nation, okay, indivisible,
liberty.
with liberty and justice for all.
All right, hope everyone's doing well. Happy New Year. Superintendent says everything's quiet. I said that. I'll consider a motion to accept the consent agenda unless someone would like to take something out of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second,
roll call, please, Mariah.
Holly Allen,
Aye. Sorry.
Hannah Ayat,
Aye.
Mike Rocha,
Aye.
Rita Kenahan. Aye. Patrick McHugh.
Aye, that passes. Thank you. Spotlight on excellence. I don't see excellence on there anymore, but I'm sure it is. Pre-1 bullying update. Sonia, how are you and Happy New Year?
Happy New Year. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good.
I'm going to use the Q word and say it's been pretty quiet this year.
Might as well. We've already had the black cat run by now.
Already started it.
Already started.
As of yesterday, I have 2 bullying incidents to report, and they really are kind of related to each other. And they were dealt with and were, I don't want to say fairly low stakes, but we're pretty easy to intervene in and to make corrections. And we have some ongoing counseling involved. We're continuing to use our social emotional programs to support our needs with respect to bullying type incidents. So I think we're in a pretty good place. Anything from here on out will be on the end of year report. So pretty positive.
Can you roll? Is that the end of that report? Can you roll
Yep.
that up? Does it say what grade? Is it supposed to say what grade?
They were both at the middle school level, so they were both older children.
Just to let anyone know that this report has to be reported by law to the school committee twice a year, and this is the first of the 2.
Correct.
And from my recollection, it says what incidents and what grade, if I remember correctly.
I mirrored last year's reports.
So maybe we can check that if I'm right or wrong on that one. I don't remember, but I remember previous bullying reports letting us know what the grade they were in. So anyway, that just struck me that I didn't see that. That's all. All right, thank you. Anyone want to talk about the bullying report? All right, 3-2 International Baccalaureate update report, please.
Kelly Cole and Mike Tomaso have some information about the work we've been doing towards during our candidacy phase. So are they in this side?
Yep, they're in.
Yes.
Tomaso's here. I don't see him.
I don't see Mike.
I see my.
Hey, there you go.
I apologize. I'm woefully unschooled in Zoom. I could work my way around Google Meet like nobody's business, but Zoom is maybe the second time I've done Zoom. So hopefully,
Good seeing you, Mike, and Kelly. Happy New Year. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
I'm going to let Kelly just do a preface and explain to you what work she's been doing with various teams. And then the couple of slides that we're going to share with you are showing how Mike is embedding some of the IB principles into what he's doing. So you could give us an explanation, Kelly?
Yeah. So even though everything with COVID has kind of set some things behind, I feel like we're making some great progress. Every week, I meet with the 5 and 6 team, the core teachers, on Monday, and I meet with the 7-8 core teachers on Wednesday. And so since about the beginning of December, maybe the end of November, we actually have been really concentrating on first mapping out our own current curriculum and then deciding where we can embed IB language into that curriculum. For those teachers who use Engage New York and anyone who's familiar with Engage New York is robust and it's laid out and it's very organized. And so we really need to take the time to embed, like I said, that language in the curriculum. It doesn't necessarily easily fit in, but we are certainly doing our best to make it fit in. And I think we're doing a really great job. And Mr. Tomaso is actually going to show you some of the ways that he's incorporating IB into the current 8th grade ELA program. So like I said, we've just been taking the time to do that. It will take significant time to continue this work. We have a lot of things to do, but like I said, I really am happy with the progress that we've made thus far, and we're just going to keep on going. We're just going to keep on trucking along.
Kelly, can I just ask you this before Mike speaks?
Sure.
How many months has the pandemic set back IB at Wilbur?
I thought you were going to ask how many months has it set back IB in general?
In general.
Yeah, I've been in contact with the financial team over at IB, workshop teams. I actually just contacted Nicole Jones, if you remember Mr. McHugh. We spoke with her back in August, and IB in general has COVID has had a significant impact on what they usually do. So workshops have been canceled. That's the key piece. You need that professional development for these teachers, and a lot of those face-to-face have been canceled. So actually my job today was to take a peek into when is the next time we're actually going to be able to do those workshops. And to be completely honest with you, the next that would be available to us in Eastern time in the United States, that is a 3-day synchronous live, if you will, workshop isn't until June. And that's a big difference. Usually they have one every month. So things have been impacted for sure. But in terms of Wilbur, I truly at the moment, I feel as though we're right where we should be. But moving forward, I don't know, like I said, seeing as how we can't do those workshops until June, I would think that the timeline is going to be pushed back a little. But like I said, I'm confident now that we're right where we need to be and we're supposed to be.
Right. I'd like to get Nicole Jones back.
Yeah, sure.
August, so it's what's that, 6 months? 5 or 6 months since we've last spoke to her?
Yeah.
Maybe April or May.
So I'm going to be talking to her this weekend. We actually have a Zoom set up this weekend. So I'll see what she has available, and we'll take it there. But what she's going to be doing this upcoming weekend, she's actually going to be helping me determine how to best help teachers create our IB units. And that's really, it's like we're already a jump start on that because we're implementing those units next year. But I just want to have a handle on it this year and kind of give the teachers a sneak peek to what we're going to be doing in the future. And like I said, Mike, I want to add Mrs. Conley, Mr. Tomaso and Mrs. Conley, they work so well together, and Mike can speak to that. But the ELA and social studies IB components at the moment, the team are already doing cross-curricular units. And so what Mike is about to show you, like I said, is just a glimpse to IB in the process of learning. Really exciting. You'll be impressed with what he has.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike. Mr. Schmalz.
Okay, that's all right. No, yeah, I just, you know, I was lucky enough, myself and a handful of others, we sort of snuck in. We didn't realize we were sneaking in under the wire, but we were able to go to the IB conference in February, and it's hard to believe what happened just a few weeks later. And I know it's been challenging to get everybody back to those types of things. So I was lucky enough to get to go to the Boston one. And then obviously things went sideways a little bit. But now that we've been back in the building for a while, trying to just bring some of that stuff back to the forefront with Kelly meeting with us on a weekly basis and things like that. So for me, you know, I'm like a lot of people, more of a learning by doing. Going to the conference, reading the stuff it made sense, but it was still a little bit abstract. I think I needed to actually see what it would look like, you know, on the day-to-day, right? There's ideas in practice and there's ideas in theory, and I needed the idea to be practice, not theory. So what I started to do, Kelly was able to get for us some publications that helped us, I think, to take the abstract IB ideas and put them into actual units. And they weren't units that we used, but the concepts and the ideas were there, and it helped me at least to see how you might want to set something up. So what I have been trying to do, and this is the first one, and I've got little pieces in a few other things that I've been doing, is to take the language and the format and the style of questioning and sort of, I guess, retrofit is maybe the best word, to retrofit it into some existing stuff that I had been doing for a number of years at school anyway. So what you see here, like Kelly said, this is just a piece. This is, I have a unit on the novel Animal Farm, and it's, you know, I have like 75 slides that I use and all types of material, but I just condensed that down to a couple of slides that I added this year that show the sort of the way you would approach a unit with an IB lens, right? So I don't know, I can't do anything. I guess I have to say next slide, Jonathan. I don't know if you're doing that. It's very hard, it's very strange not to be able to control your own slides. There we go. So the fundamental question is in blue. Why do societies experience revolution? The whole novel of Animal Farm deals with, and if you're unfamiliar, or if you are, I'm sorry if there's a repeat, but it's a fable about these animals who kick their humans off the farm and then try to create their own society, and it doesn't go particularly well. And it's really an allegory. It's telling us what happens if we are not careful about who we trust, and we're not careful if we don't educate ourselves. But in that IB book, I saw they had a unit about revolution. It had a different text as the core, but I thought, well, I can apply that to this book. So why do societies experience revolution became sort of the fundamental question. And right here, you've got the factual questions. And this is, the IB language has three types of questions. It's factual, conceptual, and debatable. So we talked the other day in class, I asked all the students these factual questions, and we actually did, it's called Nearpod. It's basically a way to virtually brainstorm, and we all throw ideas out there. So I asked those questions, and then the next slide, you'll see the conceptual questions, which take those factual questions and then add another layer. They're putting in context. And then finally, the third and the most challenging, I think, is that debatable question. But can you just go back to the previous slide?
All right.
Right. That's okay. So that debatable question is something that you use more towards the end of your unit, where you're thinking about everything you've talked about with revolution, and then you're going to say, well, do revolutions always lead to progress? So that's the debate. That could take the form of literally a class debate, I suppose. That could be a research-based project where students apply that question both to the novel, and this is where maybe a Miss Conley would come in, where we would look at other revolutions throughout the course of history, and talk about whether or not those revolutions were A, successful, and B, progressed the culture and progressed the society, or they didn't. So you can use the context of the book, and then you can tie that in, like I said, with real history, whether it's the American Revolution, whether it's the French Revolution. Animal Farm was based on the Russian Revolution, and I would probably argue that most people say that did not lead to progress for most of 20th century Russia. So the book and those ideas aren't new. I think what's been new is the way that we're looking at them and the types of questions that we ask, and that's helping me and my colleagues kind of understand what IB's coming, where their objective is and what the IB framework is supposed to be. I think before this, it was a lot of, I don't want to say confusion, but a lot of uncertainty of what it would look like, and jumping in and actually starting to look at it and starting to frame your lessons and your units with these questions has certainly helped me. And I do think it's helped some of us at the middle school realize that it's new, but it's not something that is impossible or a nut that you can't crack. You know what I mean? I don't know if I have another slide there or not. I'm not sure what I sent you guys. Is there something else? Yeah. So this is a definition. Again, this also comes from that book. Those books have been awesome because they've allowed me to kind of figure out how to frame and how to phrase things. So we looked at this definition, and then that question at the bottom there is something that I wrote in, and that would be an exit ticket lesson where you would look at that definition and then try to figure out, are the events of this book, can we qualify these as a revolution based on those questions that we asked? I actually talked, using that definition, we talked about the American Revolution, and then we actually talked about the revolution in Animal Farm. So it's we're dipping our toes in, to use a metaphor there about that, this idea of how do we reframe some of the things that we're already doing. I think that's been the phrase that I've heard a lot from Kelly and Sonia and people like that, saying, you're already doing a lot of great work. How do you just kind of recontextualize it in the IB framework? So that's what I've been trying to do. I'm not alone. I know a couple of my colleagues have been trying to do that too, and trying to make the best of the situation we're all in this year as well. So that's kind of it for me. I don't know if anybody has questions or if there's anything else that you need me to talk about.
So Mike,
Mhm.
Mike, you with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you excited about IB?
I am. I think the excitement came when I actually started to really think about applying it to the stuff that I do at Wilbur and what we've been doing at Wilbur. I think when it was an abstract concept and people thought everything had to be new, I think that was a challenge. But I think for me, digging in and recognizing that there's a lot of great things and great ideas that you've just got to find a way to fit into the school you're in and the students you have, it was exciting. And it's for me, I can't just pull out the same thing and say the same speech every year. So it's been exciting for me to rethink about the things I do. And then if I'm excited, I hope that translates to the students being excited, which I hope has been happening, which I think so.
Well, I hope that, the rest of the teachers are excited about it, so we can attract more kids and put them in the seats here. So they're excited about it.
Right. Right.
Because it's, if because that's what it's all about. Because if we keep losing kids, we're not going to have anyone to teach to.
Right.
So if we can make something that's exciting for the teachers and exciting for the kids and exciting for the public and people want to come here, it's a win all around.
Sure.
Because if not, if we just keep going on the same tack that we've been going on, without changing things up, I don't know what's going to happen to the school.
Right.
So
right.
Anyway,
well, I certainly have a vested interest in keeping the school open, and I know everybody that works there does too. So that's a good way to frame it, I think.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else have comments?
Well, Wilbur McMahon is pretty darn nifty with or without IB. But Wilbur McMahon is more focused now on critical thinking, higher order thinking, and more sophisticated habits of mind with IB. But it's always been
Hmm.
a nifty place and a book, so I think enrollment discussions, are much more complex and curriculum. That has a lot to do with housing, median house price, all that stuff. So those are my parting words. Will McMahon is nifty no matter, but ramped up with this good fit IB. Thank you, Mike.
Rita, do you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you, Patrick.
Yep.
I really want to give kudos to Ms. Cole, Mr. Tomaso, Mrs. Conley. Fabulous work incorporating these principles or the foundation into what you're doing. It's wonderful work. Thank you. We appreciate it. Mr. Tomaso, you mentioned you think you see some reaction in your students. Could you say a little bit more about that? Is there anything you could say about how the students maybe are reacting, and anything from the parents, nuanced or otherwise, that you might have heard from parents?
Well, so I mean, this, for example, what I showed you guys just now, that's what I showed the students on Monday. So it's only Wednesday. So it's very, very, very new, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. I do think, so as far as parents, no, I haven't heard anything from them yet. Maybe that's coming down the line. I'm not sure. I do think that my experience with those particular questions, like I showed you, the 3 tiers, the factual, conceptual, and the debatable one we haven't quite got to yet because we kind of have to see the unit through. But I did find that on Monday we had a nice class discussion. Again, if you're unfamiliar with Nearpod, it's a program because I had some kids at home. I actually had 4 or 5 kids at home in each of my 2 8th grades. So it's a way to incorporate them. It's an online forum where you can pose a question and then people can just type in responses and they all sort of filter in through a board. So I was pretty impressed with the discussion that we had in class. The kids knew a lot about what revolutions were. They knew a lot about the different types of revolutions we've had through history. One of the questions was, what are the different types of revolutions beyond just the government social revolutions? A lot of them already were bringing up technological revolution. They were bringing up things like social revolution, maybe not in those words, but they knew what they were. And it did seem to generate more interest than just a generic, okay, let's talk about what the first chapter of this book is, to be able to frame it in a way that is a little more in depth and saying, we're talking about this book, yes, but this book has ideas that extend beyond the pages of this book. So to answer your question, I mean, we're very, very early on to this. I would be, I'd have to report back after we've gone through most of this unit and we're tackling that debatable question at the end. I think that's where I'm going to see the real depth of thought in terms of when they consider whether or not this revolution on these pages was successful, and then posing that question with the social studies tie-in where we're looking at other revolutions. I think that's where I'm going to see something that I maybe haven't seen before from them.
And I just wanted to add too, if anyone's familiar with the philosophy of IB, one of the largest components of IB is ensuring that learning is autonomous for the students and that the students have voice. And so after hearing Mr. Tomaso, what he's doing in class, obviously students are going to have that chance to vocalize, their thoughts, their feelings, their opinions. And I think if you asked no matter what school you're in, what are you for? They're going to say, well, we want to do this. And they have their own ideas. And this is kind of allowing them to do, just fits right in with the IB framework, like Mike.
Mike Rocha, you have your hand up. Go ahead, buddy.
Sure. So just have to transparent. So Kelly may need to answer this, or Mike, I'm not sure. So this is being incorporated at the 7th and 8th grade level. Now you're just starting with that into social studies in English.
I'm with all teachers right now, and at the moment, everything, like Mike said, it's just we're kind of dipping our toes into it, for lack of a better term. And so if teachers at the moment feel like they can incorporate some of that philosophy into their current units, of course, they can, and we welcome it. And so Ms. Tomaso and Mrs. Conley at the moment, just this were the first to get that started. And then the other, we actually have big boards in the library right now. Everyone is literally writing out their math curriculum. And what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is kind of do what Mike and Ann are currently doing. We're going to take sticky notes. We're going to kind of place them in like a puzzle, if you will, to decide which units the 516 want to use and embed IB language into it. And then Miss Brazil, science, 8th grade, and Mr. Heilman at the 8th grade math level. So I'm hoping by the end of the year, all core teachers at the middle school level will at least have a basic framework of how they're going to incorporate IB into their curriculum starting in September.
Okay, and that's, I mean, that's great. You're coming up with there's a plan and you got a goal from now to the end of the year, which is awesome. The only thing I would ask is that if we could see more examples of this as you progress, and I understand this is very early, just so we get a better idea. And I know this is a challenge for the teachers, and then it's going to be a challenge for the kids, hopefully it's a good challenge and it's exciting for everybody, but just to see progress so that we know what's going on, to see what you're with this new program, being it's a new program for all of us.
I can definitely do that. I will ensure. I already know, like I said, Mrs. Conley has ideas. Miss Brazil has some ideas. So I think those are the next people you're going to see.
That's fine. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I was talking, but no one could hear me because I was on mute. Thank you, Kelly and Mike. Appreciate you coming and spending a few minutes with us tonight.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you. Superintendent report. Human resources update.
I'll introduce this wonderful update that Carolyn, yep, there she is. You receive every Friday night an elliptical sort of HR update from Carolyn Sedgwick within my Friday night memo that I send. And we just think it's a good idea to report out every now and then about our HR initiatives and upgrades at open school committee meetings. So Carolyn, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Lori. As you know, we have an anticipated long-term substitute position in middle school math that has been posted on SchoolSpring, as well as on a platform accessed by many college students and grads. And so far, we've been able to target Bridgewater, URI, Rhode Island College, Roger Williams, and soon UMass Dartmouth. So if you know of anyone, please send them my way or to SchoolSpring, and we'll hopefully have some excellent candidates. The new flexible spending account program was rolled out for the certified staff members as of 1 January. And also for January, the trust is offering many fitness and wellness classes, which have been shared with the staff through our Parent Square program. And finally, to hopefully further the restorative practices training for administrative staff, a grant was submitted. We haven't heard back yet, but hopefully we can really strengthen the program that's already in place here for our administrators.
Thank you. Any questions on for Carolyn? I know she likes to answer them. No one? Okay. Update on Wilmot Man School 2021 hybrid school year. Superintendent.
Yeah, sure. And what a year it's been, right? First of all, I do want to, I don't if Kelly, I don't know if she's still here or if she's in the other, is she one of the participants still? No.
Kelly, I think Kelly's gone.
She's gone. Oh
I
well,
think so. I'll check.
she's sick of me today. Kelly and I,
You got
attend-
Cumley, you got Miss Cumley and Harlow, if you want to drag them in. I'm sure they'd like to speak.
they're super terrific too. Kelly is our district teacher of the year, Kelly Cole. So she is our district teacher of the year as recognized by the Little Compton School Department and also the Rhode Island Department of Education. And today was District Teacher of the Year, bring your superintendent to a Zoom day. So 49 districts, superintendents and their district teachers of the year. We were on Zoom this afternoon. We had guest speakers. We had breakout rooms. It was just absolutely delightful. And truly, it was one of those Zooms I went, oh gosh, I can't fit any more on my plate. And it was just a highlight, I think, of the past few months. It was just wonderful. And personally, I have 2 former students who are district teachers of the year in the state of Rhode Island. So it was really, really a cool, cool day. So our hybrid school year has gone well. The tents came down. Hopefully they can come up again in early spring. Currently we have, in terms of COVID-19, we have no one in our school community in isolation. No one is quarantining. That could change on a dime. We've had 7 cases all year over a 4-5 month period. So I think we're doing okay. I looked at the numbers for Little Compton today. They had 20 2 weeks ago, 18 last week. They updated the numbers for the week after the holiday break. So, you know, Little Compton community positivity rates are ticking up, that's for sure. But our kids returned in person on Monday. Last week we had a pause. 3 days of last week was a state-directed pause, sort of a self-imposed quarantine for everyone after the holiday break. And we extended that, which was a good thing because we did have some teachers and so forth quarantining, and they're all out now. So full in person on Monday, plus our distance learners. Right now, we have 88% of our student body in person every day and 12% distance learning. And I have to say, the quality of our hybrid program, the fact that our students, and Mike Tommaso did attest to that, our students at home are experiencing everything that the students in the classroom are experiencing. So so equity is absolutely foundational to our hybrid program, and we're getting some good press for it. I believe we just attracted 2 tuition students from another district because of the way we're managing instruction, both in person and when we have to shift to distance learning. Last Thursday, I attended a training offered by EDOC and the National Guard on how to administer the Binax Now COVID-19 rapid antigen test. I just wanted to see for myself what it entailed, and picked up a bunch of, 120 or so of the tests, and have been working the past 3-4 weeks on a way to bring testing to our building without crushing our already over-programmed human resources in the building. And so we landed the plane. I have to thank Chief Petrin. Rick Petrin has been amazing. He and I discussed a partnership before the holiday break. Never really got that firmed up, and we touched base Monday. We met yesterday in person, socially distanced, and we really came up with a great partnership. We will still need school and district resources, but we expect to test twice a week, every Monday and Thursday, half the building on a Monday, half the building on a Thursday, if parents opt in. And if we don't have school on a Monday, we shift it to a Tuesday. So twice a week, half a building each time. And if we want to stay open and keep everyone healthy and safe in the middle of this surge, which doesn't seem like it's ending anytime soon, we really need to do what, it's a scary word, surveillance testing, which just means testing of asymptomatic members of our school community. So we're going to start that tomorrow. We created, Sonia's here. Thank you so much, Sonia. Sonia and I, she did the front end, I did the back end of the app that went out to parents. And it's all of the information about the Binax Now rapid test, and also a built-in electronic signature consent form. So it's, I would say we are so ahead of the curve using Parent Square for our daily attestation, and now using it for our consent forms. We had not done that before. So this pandemic has really forced us to flex muscles that we never knew we had, I think, as a school department and as a school. And I have to thank Nurse Dunn. She will be instrumental also in this initiative. And we may have to bring in some other hand, we need a few more sets of hands to help out our EMTs. But I am absolutely indebted to Rick Petrin for meeting with, he met with me in the morning and then met with a team of us in the afternoon. And together we will keep our school community as safe as possible, and keep our kids learning, and keep as many on site who want to be there. But we have to do the surveillance testing, the testing of asymptomatic community members. And as Kelly Cole reported out, sure, this is our hybrid year in the middle of a pandemic, but year one, this is our candidacy phase for the International Baccalaureate, year one of our candidacy phase. Year two may bring us to, full International Baccalaureate middle year program certification. That is our goal. And in spite of COVID-19, we're on course. Very few teachers missed training. Sonia could probably elaborate further, but nearly all of our middle school teachers have trained in a formal day or multi-day session with International Baccalaureate, either virtually or off-site. We also flew in our consultant. She came up from, I think, South Carolina or North Carolina in September. She opened up our school year. She was there for orientation. So we are moving forward with the International Baccalaureate. Obviously, having students at home, having students on site does present challenges, and our teachers and our technology have converged beautifully to optimize a year that in many districts and many schools has caused a lot of learning loss. And we have optimized learning experiences for our kids. So I have to give props to this entire school department. I am the least of it. I mean, I just beg John McNamee for money, and that's generally, to keep the place running, keep the tents up. They're doing the hard work, and I think a lot of them are like toast at this point. If we ask one more thing of them, Carolyn's going to, the EAP is going to be overflowing with, a lot of requests. So I have to thank publicly our teachers, our IT department, our school nurse, our support staff, our principal. It's been a very successful year in spite of. Okay, I'm going to mute now.
All right, I heard mute. Thank you. I would echo those sentiments. It's been pretty good. The staff and the teachers and the IT guy, really impressive.
Patrick, can I just add?
Sure,
one
go
thing?
ahead.
In the past few weeks, we've also been embedding some enrichment programs that we had done in the past and that we weren't able to continue with. For instance, before Christmas, our middle school students were able to watch A Christmas Carol from Trinity. They kind of reimagined their world and put it in a film format. So instead of going to Trinity, Trinity came to them. This week, we started with our Island Moving Company partnership. Typically, they would come in and do a program with the kids. They are doing it via Zoom. We started with the Cindy Pino's 3rd grade class started yesterday. Those are going to be happening over between now and February break. What else have we got coming up? And we are also working on a partnership with Rhode Island Black Storytellers that will be running the month of February. So some of the things that we've had people come in, we're able to get them to come in even when they can't come in. So I just want you to know that those things are going on. And everybody's been really pleased with how well they've gone and happy. Yes, they're up and doing creative movement around their desk, but they've managed to make it work, having to adapt a little bit. So we are getting, it's looking a little more normal, even though it's being presented in a different format.
Right. Superintendent Mitchell, when can we get our teachers vaccinated? Is there any news on that?
Well, there's lip service, so we're told that teachers will be in tier 2, yet I have seen no documentation thereof. I and several other superintendents have directly contacted RIDE and RIDO saying school staff, not just teachers, everybody, custodians, teachers' aides, everybody. And I would lump in also, they're not our employees, but for a student and also Chartwell's employees. And so I think we're pushing hard. That said, if the state does not come through for us, we may have to be creative on our own. And Chief Petrin and I have started those conversations as well. He is the coordinator for the POD, the point of delivery for vaccinations for the town of Little Compton. And so our partnership regarding the rapid antigen tests may extend into an expedited vaccination of staff if it can be pulled off. So I'm working on it.
So can I just reach out to John McNamee and John Anderson, who are out in the bigger world than just the Little Compton community? The teachers aren't getting vaccinated at all either? No, nothing coming down the pike?
Well, interestingly, Dr. Chan from the Department of Health sits on our parent advisory board for the schools, and we've got a meeting in another week or so. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more information. But at this point in time, it does look like that vaccination would be somewhere down the road. It's the issue, I think, is the number of vaccines that are coming into the state. They're just not enough to cover everybody. They've focused in, I guess, on nursing homes and first responders at this point in time. And also, I believe Central Falls, which has got the highest COVID rate, vaccines are being given out in that community, but they're just not enough of them coming in. And I don't know where the issue is, whether it's the federal level or elsewhere in the supply chain at this point in time.
I heard that there's 1% of what's needed per week. That's what's coming in, 1%. We are hearing things may change within the next few weeks. So the lip service is to vaccinate school employees. And we hear tier 2, like I said, but no one has seen it documented. But I know districts want to make it happen. And my argument is schools are congregate spaces. 250 to 1,000 kids and adults. Schools are congregate spaces, and why aren't they on the high priority list? That's my 2 cents.
Anything to add to that, John Anderson?
No, I do not have anything to add to what the superintendent and Mr. McNamee have already said.
Thanks. All right, anything else for the superintendent? Thank you, Lori. Finance report, John Anderson. John McNamee, sorry.
I'll give my time to Mr. Anderson if you'd like to give it. I'll make this brief. We're through the 6 months of the year, 12/31, and we're running a small surplus. So that's a good sign. There are some expenses that I'm going to be able to pull out to get funded with some of the CARES Act money. So I'm in the process of pulling those expenses out, which will be good. We did have a reduction in our projected revenue of about $36,000. Our tuition number is down from our projections. We had a few students that I guess decided that they would go elsewhere. I'm hoping that they will come back in next year. As the superintendent mentioned, there are 2 coming in, so that will be basically a half a year for each, so that would be 1 additional. So we're looking at about 6 tuitions for this year at 36,000 versus our budget of 54. So we're down a little bit in that revenue. On the positive side, the state did pass the budget for FY21 back in late December and restored the aid that they had initially taken away. So I had projected somewhat in the neighborhood of 36,000 less than what we were going to be getting. So that's been restored in my projection. This new round of stimulus money, my understanding is that there will be monies available for schools. I'm not exactly sure what the restrictions are going to be on that. Some people are indicating that it will be as much as 3 times what we had received in the past. So that could be in the neighborhood of 100,000 for us, but I'm not going to comment any further on that until we get more specifics. The FY22 budget, which I'm working on and hopefully will have completed within the next 2 weeks. There's been some discussion as to the state and the funding of that budget. I've heard that we think that the education formula aid will be funded, so we're not looking at any cuts in state aid. Of course, state aid is not a significant amount of our revenue, but certainly it does impact us if there is some reduction. So at this point, I think the expenses look pretty good. We are on the positive side, and I'm hoping that we can stay that way through the end of the year.
Thank you. Any questions for John on the finance? Thank you. Committee reports. Policy Subcommittee report. I need to appoint Polly Allen as the Policy Subcommittee Chair, so I'm going to do that now. Polly, you are the chair of that subcommittee. Portsmouth School Committee Liaison Report. Rita.
Hello,
Hi.
and yes, we had a meeting on December 15th. The next one is next week on the 19th. December 15th there was some ceremonial aspects to it. They welcomed a new school committee member, election of offices, and there was some discussion of their program of studies. So they went pretty thoroughly over their changes in programming, which looked decent. I think they put a lot of thought and effort into how they're shifting some of their curriculum. They're also adding pickleball to their PE program. I found that to be personally interesting. Other than that, they are also struggling with their finances. So they are open about that. And so I look forward to our negotiations with them. That's about it. Oh, and there's a blood drive on January 26th at the St. John's Lodge
Thank you, Rita.
You're welcome.
The Wellness Committee Liaison Report.
What happened to the Recreation Committee?
I don't see it
I'm
on
sorry.
there. Oh,
I'm out of
sorry.
order.
I'm sorry. Recreation Committee, nothing to report. Wellness Committee Liaison Report.
Okay, that would be me. And we have a meeting scheduled on Tuesday, the 19th. We will be establishing our meeting dates for the year. We're required to have 5. And some of our agenda items for next week will include the wellness of students through their hybrid schooling, looking at that pretty carefully, as well as food services, food choices, a popular topic. So I'll have more to report at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Discussion items, budget workshop dates. I wanted to get the full committee here so we can go over the dates, put them in our book. We have to have 3 budget workshops publicly. Mariah, are you, do you have those dates?
Patrick, I think there's 2 workshops, and then the 3rd meeting is the approval by the
Oh,
school
I'm
committee.
sorry. Yep. 2 workshops. And then the approval of the school committee is on a regular, is a regular school committee date, right?
Yeah, we have to get it to the town by March 1st. I
Yep.
believe.
All right, do we have some proposed dates?
If it's okay with everyone, some dates that were thrown around was January 27th for the first budget workshop. And then the same evening as our next February regularly scheduled meeting, which is February 10th, a workshop before the regular meeting, and then actually at the regular meeting, doing a vote in open session to submit the budget to the town budget committee.
On the 10th. Is that work for you, John McNamee, first of all?
Yes.
Any questions on the committee on that or any issues?
How long are you scheduling these meetings for, please? These workshops?
Oh, they're gonna be long.
The 27th does not work for me. Not that everyone has to change for me, but it doesn't work for me.
Long entailed meetings. I don't know about the one on the 10th.
That's why I asked.
I would imagine we can go before that.
Well, what happens is the first workshop with the school committee, we kind of go through a lot of the detail at that point in time.
Yep.
So these workshops really are meant for the school committee to review the budget. So a lot of it we get done in the first workshop. So they're generally either follow-up questions. Oftentimes there may be changes that might, because it is a work in progress, there may be changes that I may recommend at the second workshop.
No.
And because new information has come in. So we're not in a position where we're repeating a lot of the information that will be presented in the first workshop, and everybody will have the detailed information in the budget that I'll be providing. So
I would imagine. Yeah. Okay. That's so 210. We will make it for 2 hours. We'll go 5 to 7. And I would imagine 127 would be 2 hours too. Is there another date that's better for you, Polly?
That's, I can't do Thursday nights, and that's like the only other evening I couldn't do.
Is the 27th a Thursday?
No, it's a Wednesday. So I can do any Wednesday and except for that one, and any other day except for Thursdays.
128. John McNamee, that puts you in a spot, right? You're not here then.
do we want to do it the following Wednesday, which would be was that 2-3?
2-3, Polly?
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyone else object to 2-3? So we'll do 2-3 and 2-10.
Thank you.
I would say the 2-3 one, maybe start at 6 so we can get as many people that want to see it. You know, they can get home or whatever. I don't know.
It's a good idea, Patrick.
Yeah. And then 5 o'clock for the 210. We good? Mariah, you got that? I don't see any objections to that. Superintendent, you're okay with that? I don't think we need John Anderson there though, right? He doesn't have to be there for that. I don't think so.
When
All right.
should,
Yep, good.
sorry.
Yep.
When should we see the information prior to the 2-3 meeting, John?
I'll get that out probably on, by 127. So it'll be a week before that meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna move on. Public input for agenda items and topics for future agenda. Anyone in the public would like to speak, now would be a good time. I will check to see if your hand's up later, and we'll go back to you if we have time. Thank you. Action, consider, discuss, and vote to approve any request for information from administration and our legal counsel via roll call. Do we have any requests?
I would like to request something. please.
Got a request, go ahead.
Since we're about halfway through the school year right now, I'd like to see, and I know surveys are not very popular, but I'd like to see what parents and the staff think on how we've done so far from the beginning of the year till now, to see if there's any changes that we need to make going forward. I know everything is running well, and I think that's great, but just like to get parents' feedback, students, and even staff, if you would, please.
Well, I'm a big survey guy, as everyone knows. You didn't know that, I guess, but you got me all perked up on surveys. I do know that Portsmouth just sent one out, if I remember my email, on exactly that. Paula, did you get that? Right?
There was that one that just came
It
out.
was for students, yeah,
Was it just for students?
I believe so.
See, I don't take surveys. I just like to make them. So
I
I really didn't read too much through it. But
It came in on Monday, and I believe it was for students.
just for students. Superintendent, your thoughts.
They're easy enough to generate. We have it down to a science. Generally, we administer surveys to staff and families anyway, but the school committee has to approve this request.
Rita?
Sure. I know surveys are so important. They can generate great data. I think the construction of the survey has to be precise. You have to have an overbearing question. What are you trying to answer? Like, what information specifically are you looking for from the survey? So if we do one, it should be well thought out, and we have good questions. We're looking for specific information.
Absolutely. So overall, basically a report card on how everything is being handled from anything from the school committee's been doing to down to transportation and anything in between, what the parents feel, because a lot of times we don't always hear from the parents on what's going on. And I know they're not always forthcoming with surveys, but any feedback we can get, and not to create more work for Lori or Sonia, and that's not what it's to do. It's just, if there's anything that we can tweak that going between now and the end of the school year, that's the only reason why I bring that up.
Absolutely. And we have surveys ready to go.
Let me jump in here and
Thanks,
say
John.
so everybody understands, the purpose of this agenda item is simply to make requests to the administration to bring information to the school committee, a report, an analysis, something like that. And by administration, I mean Lori, myself, Mr. McNamee. If the school committee wants to have a good discussion about what a survey would look like and what should be in a survey, you need, under the Open Meetings Act, to post that as an agenda item.
Okay, so we can do that for next meeting.
I want to make it really clear to the two new people that part of my role in attending these meetings is every so often is to jump in and say, we're getting close to the guardrails and so forth. And I certainly don't believe we hit the guardrails tonight, but I don't, that's why I'm sort of cutting this off. Mr. McHugh has indicated that he will put it on the next agenda. That then will be publicized for the public if they wish to participate. And you can talk till the cows come home about it at that time.
Thank you. Any other comment? Any other requests? Not seeing any, thank you. I will consider, we got to go in executive session. I'll consider a vote to enter into executive session under RGL section 42, 46.5A1 and RGL section 42, 46.5A via roll call. Mariah.
Holly Allen,
Aye.
Anna Ayat,
Aye.
Mike Rocha,
Aye.
Rita Kennahan,
Aye.
Patrick McHugh.
Aye. All right, so we are in executive session and we're going to another Zoom, right? All right, so I'll see everybody there. Everybody's got it?
Yes.
Find it.
Okay, bye-bye. Do I have it? Looks like it. Notify that no votes were taken in executive session. I'll consider a vote to seal the minutes of executive session. Do I have a motion?
Have a motion.
Second,
Second.
Mariah?
Holly Allen,
Aye.
Anna Ayat,
Aye.
Mike Rocha,
Aye.
Rita Kennahan,
Aye.
Patrick McHugh.
Aye. All right, we're back in open session. 12.1, consider, discuss, and vote to approve the superintendent goals as amended. Carolyn Sedgwick, would you read the amendment, please?
Yes. Under the budget section, we're going to add the following: research and pursue grant opportunities when applicable. And under the community outreach section, the following will be added: collaborate with stakeholders to implement a marketing/awareness campaign to increase enrollment of non-resident students.
Do I have a motion to approve superintendent goals as amended?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not seeing any. Roll call, Mariah?
Holly Allen,
Aye.
Anna Ayat,
Aye.
Mike Rocha,
Aye.
Rita Kennahan,
Aye.
Patrick McHugh.
Aye, so that, it's approved, thank you. I consider a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Aye.
Second.
Second, whatever.
Mariah, roll call?
Holly Allen,
Aye.
Anna Ayat,
Aye.
Mike Rocha,
Aye.
Rita Kennahan,
Aye.
Patrick McHugh.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you. I hope it wasn't too long. And Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Good night. Good
Great
week.
seeing
Happy New Year.
Take good
Everyone stay
care.
safe.
Take care.
Yeah, stay safe.
Good job, Jonathan. Jonathan, good job.